Well, welcome. Today, we are turning random workouts into hormone-friendly training that actually delivers results in perimenopause. So we're going to cover exercise versus training and what that really means, what's changing hormonally and why that affects your workouts, why we must prioritize muscle now, how to train. So we're going to structure, your intensity, your recovery, also pelvic floor. We'll be going into depth there. We're going to also go over some myths, and we're going to smash those false beliefs on some of the common myths and why. And then I'm going to give you a 2-week starter plan and next steps. So let's get you a plan that works for your body and not against it. So first, let's talk exercise versus training, okay? People use these words very interchangeably, but they are not the same, okay? So exercise is movement for the sake of moving, okay? It's a class here, a jog there, some pickleball, a hike, right? It feels good, it boosts your mood, it supports your health, great. But it's very all over the place, right? And it's usually not progressing any specific outcome, right? Where training is a structured progressive plan and it's aimed at a goal. So something like to build or keep muscle or protect bone or improve your VO2 max or prepare for a particular event, right? It uses phases through strength, through hypertrophy, through strength and endurance. You are tracking your loads and your reps, and it applies to progressive overloads and deloads. So the short version is exercise is casual and variable, and training is very purposeful and progressive. And in perimenopause, that purpose and the progression behind it become non-negotiable if you really want visible, durable results, okay? If you want a 10K result, you can't keep doing random jogs. Like, you need a 10K plan. Same with muscle, same with bone, same with body composition. We need a structured plan, okay? So during perimenopause, estrogen and progesterone really fluctuate, right? They tend to trend down, and that influences your sleep. It influences your thermoregulation. So we get, hot flashes and night sweats. It influences your mood and your recovery. And so your body composition can shift toward, like central fat, and bone turnover accelerates heading toward menopause. Okay. So we tend to collect fat around our midsection, and we lose that bone density just a lot faster, right? So you can expect more variability in your energy and your stress tolerance during this time. So meeting this phase with a plan, not like workout roulette, is very essential. Okay. Also, a reality check here, training improves your sleep, your mood, your fitness, and your weight management. But I do want to note that hormone therapy does remain the most effective treatment for these symptoms due to the most recent research. So manage your expectations and do speak with your clinician about eligibility, okay? But training still has a massive impact on helping with the quality of life and your health span. So why is muscle the main character, especially right now? Well, with less estrogen around, your body is more inclined to lose lean muscle mass and bone unless you deliberately protect them. So muscle it equals like your metabolic control, okay? When you have more muscle, it improves your insulin sensitivity, your glucose disposal, your lipid metabolism, and your resting energy expenditure. So that means you burn more calories while you're sitting on your ass. Combined with that, with like aerobic work, it improves your whole body composition more than anything alone, okay? Muscle also loads bone. So heavy, well-coached resistance training improves bone strength, especially in perimenopausal women. And this really matters for like hip, spine, wrist fracture risks, because we get more vulnerable as we age, right? Muscle also preserves function and longevity markers. So leg strength, grip strength, they both track with lower morbidity or mortality, and better late life function. So we want you squatting, we want you hinging, we want you pushing, pulling, carrying, and yes, even training your grip, okay? So the bottom line is you don't accidentally maintain muscle at this life stage, you train for it, okay? So let's talk about how to train like how to do this. What does my weekly structure look like the big picture? So if you're brand new to this, I want you to imagine your week as like a puzzle. Okay, so each piece serves a purpose. One piece builds strength, one keeps your heart healthy, and one helps your body to recover. So number one is strength training. We want to be doing this 2 to 4 days a week. Think of this as your foundation for your week, okay? These are your muscle days. So each workout has about 6 to 8 total movements, and we focus on big patterns that your body uses every day. So squats, right? Like sitting in a chair or standing up from your chair. Hinge, so bending at your hips to pick something up safely. So think like deadlift or even how you load your groceries. Push movements like closing a heavy door or doing a push-up. Okay, see how we're daily functional movements with the exercise. Pull, like opening that same door or doing a row. Lunges, stepping forward or back is really great for balance and stability. Carry, so holding groceries, grandkids, a suitcase. This all builds up grip strength and core strength. And then core, not just crunches, ladies. This means your whole midsection, keeping you stable and strong, supporting that spine. And so these movements keep life easier as we age. We can get up off the floor, we can carry things, we can stay independent longer. And if you're brand new, just start with 2 days a week. Even 2 really well-planned sessions can make a huge difference in strength, metabolism, and your confidence. Number 2, we want to talk about cardio for your heart and your hormones, okay? So now there's 2 types here, and both matter, but we do them smart, okay? So the first one is zone 2 cardio. So this is moderate. So I want you to think like brisk walk or a light bike ride or an elliptical session where you can still hold a conversation, but you feel like slightly winded, okay? We want you to be doing this 2 to 3 times a week for 20 to 40 minutes or aim for a daily step goal, okay? Zone 2 is your fat burning and recovery zone. This improves your energy, your mood, and your endurance without stressing your system too much, okay? The next one is HIIT or tempo work. Now these are to be short and strategic, okay? HIIT means short bursts of harder effort. Think 20 seconds of like fast cycling or a quick circuit of squats and mountain climbers followed by a rest. So we keep this somewhere between 0 to 2 times per week and only for about 10 to 20 minutes, okay? Think of these sessions as like adding hot sauce or spice, okay? It's great in small amounts, but too much can really throw off your recovery, your sleep, and your hormones, okay? And if we're already kind of fighting those as is, we don't want to add any more fuel to that fire, right? So big picture, we want to aim for a total of 150 to 300 minutes of moderate activity each week. So that's going to include your walks. It could include dancing, gardening, like it all counts, okay? Plus at least 2 strength days. So this combination gives you the best results for fat loss, for heart health, and hormone balance because resistance plus cardio together outperform either one alone, okay? Now, let's talk about strength training in detail. Okay, so this is where women really start to see their bodies change, not just on the scale, but in shape, their strength, their confidence. So let's break this down so it feels simple and not scary. When you strength train, every movement has 3 main ingredients, okay? So sets are how many times you repeat an exercise. Reps are how many times you do it before resting, and intensity is how hard you're working. So here's the sweet spot, okay, for most women. We're going to do 2 to 4 sets per exercise, okay? So for your main big lifts, aim for about 5 to 12 reps, and this builds both strength and muscle tone. And so for smaller, like accessory moves, think like bicep curls, glute bridges, tricep kickbacks, like go for something like 8 to 15 reps. The key is to finish your set feeling like you have 2 to 3 more in the tank, okay? But not like 10. So we want this to be challenging and controlled, right? So if you can do 15 reps and it feels easy, it's time to bump it up. Grab that next heavier dumbbell, okay? That's how your body gets the message to change. So let's talk about what progressive overload is. So this is a sciencey term for get a little stronger every week, okay? It doesn't mean huge jumps. Sometimes it's just one extra rep or a 2-pound increase in weight or better form than last week. But those small, steady increases are what tell your muscles, hey, I need to adapt and get stronger. And that's how we build muscle. We improve your metabolism and we protect our bones. Next, let's talk about deload weeks. So about every 6 to 8 weeks, you really should, I highly encourage that you take a lighter week. So think like 30 to 50% less weight or fewer sets. And this is going to just give your joints and muscles and your nervous system some time to recover and then come back stronger. And I want to really preface that this is not a step back. Okay, it is part of the plan. Professional athletes do it, and so should we. Okay. Let's talk about fracture-resistant bones. So estrogen helps protect your bones, but as it starts to decline in perimenopause, we need to send our body that load signal, right? So when you lift something heavy safely, your body says, okay, I need to build stronger bones so I can handle this. And this is why we occasionally add heavier sets of 3 to 5 reps under guidance and some gentle power moves like step ups, maybe some light jumps or throwing a medicine ball. So even these small efforts can make bones more resilient and reduce the risk of osteoporosis. So don't worry if that sounds like a lot. It is a learning curve, but it's simpler than you think. You'll repeat mostly the same moves for anywhere to 6 to 8 weeks, tracking your progress and get stronger every single time. So before long, you're going to look back and realize the weights that once felt intimidating are now like your warm-up weights. And it happens quick, I promise. Cool. So now that you've got the basics of strength and cardio, let's talk about training smart. Okay. This is where we protect our bodies and we keep things working the way they should. A lot of women over 40 start working out with a lot of enthusiasm, but end up like super frustrated or even injured because no one ever taught them how to build a strong foundation. And that foundation starts with your core and your pelvic floor. So your pelvic floor is the group of muscles at the base of your pelvis, and they support the bladder, your uterus, and your bowels, and they work with your deep core muscles to keep you stable. And again, when estrogen drops, those tissues start to weaken, which sometimes leads to things like bladder leakage or like a heaviness feeling or even low back pain. So when you lift or do any kind of exertion, just remember this rule. Exhale on the effort, okay? When you want to go, that's when we should be breathing out, okay? So if you're squatting, breathe out as you stand up. If you're doing a push-up, breathe out as you push away from the floor. So that gentle exhale helps manage pressure so you're not pushing down on the pelvic floor. So if you're feeling like a heaviness or leaking or pressure down there, that's your body's way of telling you it's time to maybe scale back the impact a bit. I always suggest seeing a pelvic floor therapist, physical therapist. I know it seems crazy that that's a thing, but I do have a few gals in my network that I could refer you to that are pelvic floor physical therapists, but they're experts that can just help you retrain those muscles. So if needed, if we're a little past that, being able to control it ourselves, right? So for core work, think stability first. Instead of endless crunches, I want you to try things like dead bug, bird dog, plank variations, farmer's carries can be really, really good. Even like holding a weight out in front of you and like lifting your knees up, like a weighted march. So these teach you to brace your core and to stabilize the spine and support it during daily movement, which is exactly what you need for a hormone-friendly training. All right. Next, I want to talk about balance, mobility, and injury prevention. So as we age, recovery takes a little bit longer, right? Old aches and pains come up more often than not, your knees, hips, shoulders. they show up a little bit more often. And that doesn't mean that we stop moving. Okay. It means that we train smarter. When your program is built right, it will balance your movement patterns. So every push has a pull, every squat has a hinge, every left side move has a right side move. That balance keeps your joints really happy and your posture super strong. So if you only do your favorite exercise, ladies, like say only upper body or only cardio, you're going to create a lot of imbalances that can lead to pain and possibly injury. So for example, like lots of women love rowing and pulling movements, right? It's for good reason. It's a great thing to work. But if we never work like the chest or the front of the shoulders, our posture can start to actually round forward. So your coach or me might include, something like chest presses or mobility drills to even things out. So when everything's balanced, you'll look and you'll feel more confident and you'll stand taller. Your clothes are going to fit better and your workouts are going to feel way smoother. Okay. So here's the part no one ever tells you about. Your progress doesn't actually happen in the workout. It happens after, when your body repairs and rebuilds. And that's why recovery days are just as important as training days. Okay. We need to take time for gentle stretching or yoga, that deep breathing, walks outside, making sure our sleep is, 7 to 9 hours as much as possible. And remember, recovery doesn't mean being lazy. It means giving your body space to adapt and actually like process the work that we've done. And then we can come back stronger. So when you train and you rest with a strategy, your hormones, your muscles, and your energy all work with you instead of against you. And that's really what we all want, right? So I like to ask my clients these 5 questions. Number 1, did I move my body most days this week, even if it was just a walk? Number 2, did I lift something challenging at least twice? Number 3, did I do something that made me breathe a little harder? Whether that was structured cardio or maybe it was play, right? Dancing, hiking, chasing the grandkids around. Number 4 is, did I give myself at least one real rest day? And number 5 is, did I fuel my body with enough protein and water in order to recover? So if you can say yes to most of these, you're doing amazing. Okay. That's hormone-friendly training in a nutshell. Movement, strength, balance, and rest, all in rhythm with your body. So ladies, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Okay. Start where you are. 2 strength days and daily walks beat a perfect plan if that's what you can stick to. If that's what you can be most consistent at, amazing. Every time you show up, you're building the muscle, you're building your balance and that confidence that's going to carry you through this stage and beyond. So now that you know how to move, let's talk about how to fuel that movement, because no training plan works without recovery, and recovery depends on what and how you feed your body. So I always tell my clients that you can't out-train under fueling, okay? You can be lifting and walking and doing all the right things, but if you're not eating enough of the right nutrients, your body doesn't have the raw materials it needs to build that muscle or to balance your hormones. When we're younger, our metabolism and our hormones were a bit more forgiving, right? We could skip meals, we could undereat or live on coffee and still bounce back. But during perimenopause, estrogen has very protective effects on muscle and bone that starts to decline, right? So because estrogen is what protects that, and it starts to take a nosedive. It means our body becomes less efficient at using food and what we eat for recovery. And that's why protein is so important. Strength training and sleep are like, they're like the holy trinity of hormone-friendly living. So when you train, you create tiny little micro tears in your muscles. It's not a bad thing because that's where the growth happens. But if you don't give your body enough nutrients to repair them, you're going to stay sore and you're actually going to lose muscle and stall your progress. So I want you to think of protein as like the construction material, and carbs are like the delivery trucks that get those materials where they need to go. So I know you have heard it before, eat your protein, but let's break down why it's especially important right now in perimenopause, right? So protein does more than just build muscle. It helps you to regulate your blood sugar and reduce those cravings. It boosts your metabolism. It supports your skin, your hair, your collagen. It helps you to strengthen your bones, and it improves your recovery and your sleep. So during perimenopause, our body doesn't use protein as efficiently, so we actually need more of it, not less. So aim for roughly 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight a day. So that's about 25 to 30 grams per meal for most women, okay? And if you're not tracking, which is always our best way of data collection, right? But if you're not tracking, a good visual is like a palm-sized serving of protein at each meal. So think chicken, fish, eggs, Greek yogurt, tofu, steak, right? Tuna. And then add a high protein snack or shake if you need help hitting your goal. So if for most women, like for me, my personal goal is 140 grams each day. And so if I hit 30 at each meal, I still need to add in two to three snacks in order to get me up above that. So for me, I'm aiming for more like 35 to 40 grams per meal to hit my goal. But again, everyone's a little bit individual. And if you're starting really low, build up from there, okay? And if you strength train, that protein goes directly toward muscle repair and hormone production, both of which make you feel more like yourself again. One of the biggest mistakes women make in perimenopause is cutting out carbs or healthy fats, thinking it's going to help with weight loss. But here's the truth. Cutting too low on either one of them can make your hormones way even more out of whack. So carbs give your body quick energy, and they help restore glycogen, which is your muscles' like energy storage. And without enough carbs, you feel really drained. Okay. Your workouts are going to suffer. You're going to crave sugar later in the day. So aim for mostly whole food carbs. So think things like fruits, veggies, oats, rice, potatoes, beans, and, time them around your workouts for energy and recovery. And then healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, nuts, seeds, salmon, they're all very essential for hormone production and your brain health. So don't fear fat, okay? It helps stabilize the mood, reduce inflammation, and keeps your joints feeling really happy. Hydration is another game changer that most women overlook, and even being 1% to 2% dehydrated can make you feel sluggish and foggy and cranky. So we want to aim for at least half your body weight in ounces of water per day, and more if you're sweating or active. Now, I want to preface this with, if we have a good amount of weight to lose and half that body weight is a lot, like over 120 ounces, we don't need to go quite that excessive. And if you need help figuring that out, let me know. Electrolytes like magnesium, potassium, and sodium also matter for energy and hydration balance. And if you've ever noticed feeling more like bloated or puffy when your hormones fluctuate, staying hydrated actually reduces that. So sip throughout the day, not all at once. Okay, don't try to get it all in at night, because then we're up all night peeing. And just remember, like, your muscles and your metabolism literally depend on water. So all right, next I want to go in, touch a little bit on supplements, okay? And we want to keep it simple and not overwhelming, and you don't need a whole drawer full of pills to thrive in perimenopause, okay? With just a few smart evidence-based ones that complement your training and your nutrition, you can really just kind of bump it up a notch, okay? So I'm going to share my top essentials, but I am also not making this recommendation for you. And you should always check with your healthcare provider before adding or trying any supplement ever. Okay. I am not your doctor. I am not giving you a suggestion. I am sharing with you what I use personally. Okay. So protein powder. It can be a convenient way to hit your daily goal, especially after your workouts. So looking for like a clean, high quality brand, researching the lead content in it, whey, bone broth, or plant-based options, seeing what's right for you. I always go with the least amount of added ingredients and do a lot of deep digging on if it contains lead or not. I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's been a lot of talk on protein powders and them all containing high amounts of lead. So do your research. Ask me for my favorites if you need a suggestion there. Another one is creatine monohydrate. Okay, 3 to 5 grams a day. This is one of the safest and most well-researched supplements out there, period, especially for women. It helps improve your strength, your power, your recovery, and even your brain health. And studies show that it can improve your bone geometry in postmenopausal women. So great supplement. Again, check with your doctor before trying any of these. But creatine, if you are strength training, is a great thing to add to help improve that strength, power, and recovery. Okay. Vitamin D and calcium. So these are really key for bone strength, especially if you're not getting enough sunlight or dairy. Magnesium is going to support your sleep, your relaxation, and your muscle recovery. And omega-3s help reduce inflammation and support heart health and brain health. So again, I'm going to stress this one more time. Always check with your healthcare provider before starting anything new. But these are kind of the basic supplements that will help support what you're doing in your training program. And this is not, do not take these if you are not training, ladies. This is to supplement, to add on to, okay? They are not going to be a magic pill that fixes everything. You're not going to take creatine and all of a sudden put on muscle. You have to do the strength training to get the muscle on the body. All right. Grab your water. Quick reminder, hydrate. All right, next let's talk about recovery habits. So recovery isn't just about what you eat, okay? It's about how you live. So here's what supports hormone balance just as much as your workouts. Number one, sleep. Your body can't repair or regulate your hormones without it. So really try to aim for 7 to 9 hours. Number two, stress management. High cortisol can stall fat loss. It can increase your belly fat and mess with your energy. So use movement and breath work or journaling to release it, okay? Number three, movement variety. It's okay to mix in yoga and dancing or just stretching on your recovery days, okay? These all help kind of reset your nervous system. And number four is community and joy. So don't underestimate how much connection and laughter help your health markers, because movement is medicine, but so is joy, right? Just remember that training and nutrition work together. If you train but you don't feel properly, your body just gets tired. If you eat well but you don't move enough, you just lose the stimulus to grow stronger. When you do both, even imperfectly, ladies, your body starts working with you again, and you'll notice more stable energy, better sleep, less bloat, and a stronger, leaner shape over time. You're not broken. Your body just needs the right inputs, movement, muscle, and nourishment to actually feel like you're thriving again. All right, let's bust a couple myths, okay? These are the ones I hear the most, okay? So time for some truth bombs, because so many women over 40 are still doing what used to work, but it's not working anymore. So let's clear the air on a few myths that I hear every single week, every week. If I just do more cardio, I'll lose the weight. Here's the deal. Cardio is amazing for your heart, your lungs, your mood, but it is not your fat loss magic bullet, okay? In fact, too much cardio, especially super intense cardio, can raise your cortisol, which is your stress hormone. And when cortisol stays high, it actually makes it harder to lose belly fat and can break down muscle tissue. So you don't need to do more. You need to do the right mix, okay? So strength training with moderate walking, right? That zone 2, the almost can't have a conversation, like just a little bit out of breath with recovery. And that is really your winning formula, okay? Lifting heavy will make me bulky. Oh, if I had $1 for every time I heard this one. So here's the truth. You do not have the hormonal environment to bulk up naturally. Building muscle as a woman, especially in perimenopause, is hard. It's slow and steady, and it gives you tone and curves and firmness, but not bulk, okay? Muscle is what gives you that like sculpted, strong look, and it boosts your metabolism, It supports your joints and it literally slows down aging. You want more muscle, ladies. We want more muscle, not less, okay? I'm too old to start lifting weights. No, 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 no. Science actually says the opposite. So there's research from the Journal of Strength and Conditioning, research and Harvard Health both show that women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even in their 70s and beyond can build new muscle tissue and bone density. You just have to train consistently and fuel properly. So it's never too late. The only real risk is waiting longer to start. If I'm not sore, I didn't work out hard enough. Yeah, just heard this one yesterday. Muscle soreness is not a good measure of progress. Adaptation is. If you want to feel challenged but not crippled, okay? If you can move, sleep, and recover well, that's a good sign that your training and recovery are balanced. Soreness should be mild and very short-lived, not the kind where you can't walk down the stairs for 3 days, okay? It means we overdid it. We don't have that synergy happening. I should eat as little as possible to lose weight. This one it breaks my heart because most women I meet are under eating already and over exercising. And that combination, it just tanks your metabolism and it stresses your adrenals and it makes fat loss just hard as fuck. Your body doesn't want to be starved. It wants to be fueled. And when you eat enough protein and calories, you teach your body that it's safe to let go of stored fat. It's not about eating less. It's about eating smarter, ladies. Okay. So let's anchor all of this in a simple physiology so that you can understand kind of the why behind it, okay? So as estrogen declines, we lose its protection over our muscles, bones, and insulin sensitivity. And that's why we see more belly fat, more fatigue, mood swings, joint pain. But here's the powerful part. Strength training and proper nutrition mimic some of estrogen's positive effects. So lifting weights tells your body to hold on to muscle and strengthen bones. Walking and that zone 2 cardio, that it helps you to improve insulin sensitivity and fat metabolism. Prioritizing your protein and your recovery keeps cortisol balanced and hormones more stable. So you're not fighting your body. You're just learning to support it in a new season. Now, how do we make this actionable? Well, I put together a little starter blueprint for you, something simple, sustainable, and effective. So here's your weekly plan, ladies. We're going to do 2 to 3 strength sessions. We're going to focus on full body workouts that include your squat, your hinge, your push, your pull, your lunge, and your core. So I'll give you an example. So day 1, we're going to do squat, push, core. Day 2, we're going to do hinge, pull, carry. Day 3, which is optional, we're going to do like a lunge plus some combo moves like step ups or like single leg deadlifts. Then we're going to do 2 to 3 zone 2 cardio sessions. Okay. So this is like 30 to 40 minutes of that brisk walking, cycling, swimming, keep it easy enough to talk, but not to sing. And then 1 recovery or movement day, at least 1. Okay. So think yoga, stretching, foam rolling, just a leisurely walk. Have a daily movement goal, aiming for anywhere from 7 to 10,000 steps. And, sneak that in by parking further away, walking while you're on calls, or dancing while you're cooking. You can sneak it all in throughout the day. When it comes to your nutrition, we're going to eat 25 to 35 grams of protein per meal. Okay. So that's 3 to 4 ounces of meat. That's 3/4 of a cup of Greek yogurt. That's 2 eggs and some egg whites, those type of things, okay? I want you to include colorful produce at each meal for fiber and antioxidants. We're going to hydrate half your body weight in ounces of water a day, and we're going to prioritize stress and sleep management, okay? They matter just as much as your food. So here's an optional example day. So in the morning, you're going to go for like 10-minute walk, protein with that breakfast, right? 30 grams of protein. Midday, throwing in your strength workout, 30 to 40 minutes. Evening, maybe a light walk after dinner, stretch after for 5 minutes, okay? So if you can do this consistently for 2 weeks, you're going to start to feel it, okay? You're going to have more energy, you're going to have better sleep, you're going to have fewer cravings, and more like mental clarity. then the magic happens. Your consistency starts to build momentum. Okay. So here's your takeaway from today. Exercise keeps you healthy. Training transforms you. Hormone-friendly training gives your body what it needs in this new season of life and not what worked in your 20s. So if you take anything from this, it's this. You are not broken. You just need a new playbook that matches your physiology right now. Start small, stay consistent, fuel well. And remember, every time you pick up a dumbbell or go for a walk or prioritize your sleep, you're signaling to your body, I'm not done yet. I'm getting stronger. So hope this training helps you to understand a little bit more, understand your body a little bit better, empowers you to take back control of your health. And if you would like a customized hormone-friendly training blueprint, one that's based on your current fitness level, your energy, and your schedule, I'd love to connect with you after this session. Drop me a line. Would love to connect. No pressure. Just a connection-based call to kind of see if we can't build you out your personal roadmap together. So hope you guys have a wonderful day. Get out there, lift something heavy.